Hey folks, welcome back to the View for the countdown, the kickoff to Leeds versus Coventry City in Elland Road this morning. Leeds hoping to get 2 wins on the bounce and get back to winning ways at Elland Road. Joined by Danny from Not Another Leeds podcast, as always, to have a chat about what we expect the lineups to look like today, what we want to see, and what's floating around Elland Road before we get the official news coming through. Danny, how have you been, mate? How's things?
Very good, mate. Thank you very much for asking. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I am all right. Yeah. Saturday morning, just looking forward to getting into this game, and you know, I'm hoping to see a little bit more than last week, Danny.
Yeah, 100%. I can't wait until we win 5-0. Like, still not good enough. Do you know what I mean? Nah,
It will.
I need to stop. I need to stop poking that bear because they'll come for me before long.
I'm there with it though, because I was in that bracket. I finished watching the game and I went, "Great, we won that,"
Yeah,
and it's missing
exactly.
something. It's just a something. I didn't feel satisfied by it. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, hopefully we get a bit more flair to it. Hopefully it's just a case of Fracas system just kind of settling everyone down, getting the systems back in place, getting ready to go, and then we have a long run at it this year, Danny. But a tricky game against Coventry City. They haven't started the season particularly well, but they were a thorn in our side last season, took 4 points off us last year, and we want to sort that out if we want to have any chance of getting promoted this year.
100%, mate. It was very, especially the second. Was it the second game that we lost to them? I think we drew, didn't we, at home and lost away, which was a very important part of the season for us. And we just crumbled, didn't we? And I saw a tweet by LUFC Data earlier on today, and I just couldn't believe it. We've won one out of the past 8 meetings with Coventry City, and that turned me grey for a moment. Did that stat? But yeah, it can be tricky. They're going to be looking to improve on their current record. I think they've only won 1 in 5, like you said. 2 draws and 2 losses, I believe. Yeah, we need to just put them to the sword today, don't we? We need to finish these chances. None of this doing it the Leeds way.
Sorry, again, specs questions as well. Specsavers gave me my specs scary. Thankfully, my short sightedness apparently is gone. So I need this for a laptop, and considering I
You
read
tell
notes all the time,
you
I need
need
to.
glasses is when you run out of arm like that, and you need
Well,
that's when you need.
I've started doing that. But I used to wear glasses for like TV and driving, but very small prescription and only sparingly I'd wear them. And then we had tickets to go and see All in Wembley, the wrestling with AEW. And I was like, right, I'll get my glasses because I'll be able to see them a little bit better with them. Couldn't find the glasses anywhere. Found my emergency backup first pair of glasses from like 10 years ago. I was like, they'll do. They won't be perfect,
Like,
but they'll do. Had them in the pocket of my hood the whole way over to London. And then just as I got into my hotel in Camden, I was like, where's the glasses gone? I was like, I'm losing the
yeah,
second pair. So I lost 2 pairs. Got these 2 and then realized they weren't actually for normal viewing because I sat down to watch TV and then I was like, I can't see anything in these. I can't see a thing. And they're like, no. These are for your laptop. I was like, why do I need 2 pairs of glasses for my laptop? Like that's
yeah.
it. I
I
needed the
remember
other ones as well.
I got my first pair of glasses. I was like, yeah, just them ones. Not realised when I got back and my girlfriend was just laughing at me. And I look like Deirdre Barlow from, is
Yeah.
it Coronation Street or Curly from Coronation Street? Just
Early.
absolute jam
Awesome
jar.
thing.
Yeah. Like Elton John. Oh, gone in the wind.
Yeah.
Just
I
that.
can add
Yeah. So
the glasses.
always check the mirror before you leave the glasses, people.
I'm never sure about them. I'm really not, because then I always think I look like Harry Hill as well, just because I'm bald and the black frame glasses and go automatically. I'll need to start wearing my collar up like this and going,
Jury Hill.
yeah, a blast from the past. There we go. Plenty of people floating around this morning. Danny, we get some current scores in the championship. 53 minutes gone in some of the games so far. Blackburn 1, QPR 0, Derby 0, Norwich 1, Sheffield Wednesday 2, West Bromwich Albion 0, which is a
Wow.
bit of a shocker. That's the last of the top teams to lose a game there at the moment, Danny. That'd be a great result for us, wouldn't it?
Yeah, if we win today, that leaves us what, 2 points behind them.
Yeah.
The meltdown's over. No one's. We might be 5 points behind currently, but win
Mm.
today and we can close that gap, which is the same for a lot of teams. But it's the Championship in a nutshell, isn't it?
Yeah, it's league, isn't it? I don't think anybody, anyone interested in the Premier League stuff. Man City currently won up against Newcastle after 55 minutes. So as it is, all as expected in the Premier League, and that's an interesting one. The Championship, something for us to keep an eye on. There's some worrying injury news today. This week came out, Danny, that Leeds may be without, or would definitely be without, Vobra, Solomon, and James. But could also be without Firpo, Stroke, and Bamford. But you've had a little look online there, and that seems to be not the case.
Yeah, Graham Smith reporting that Struijk, Firpo, and Bamford are with the squad today. So you'd assume that he'd start Struijk and Firpo and then change if needed. So I think we'll go probably. Well, we'll talk about it in a little bit, won't we? But it's good to see that they're there, and it's not as bad as we first thought.
Yeah, I did. It didn't need to fall away, but for us, it's just important that this squad stays intact for as long as it can. We don't have tons of injuries going into this game, especially on the back of missing those three. Although at least Vobra wasn't in the team, James is a miss, but Solomon's a bit of a loss as well. But it gives Ramazani a chance, Danny, to have a couple of games and get a run at the position.
Yeah, and get caught up to the league as well. It's obviously different to La Liga. It's more physical. It's more demanding, in my opinion. It's not the best league in the world, but it's definitely the hardest because it's so physical. And you can see with Brendan, he's had to bulk up quite a bit to stay on his feet in this division. And I think it's the making of some players. Look at Harrison. Yeah, he's a turncoat, gel-haired B word, but I think he was rubbish at Middlesbrough. They didn't want him there, but look what Marcelo did to him in the Championship and the path that a player can go through, and that's the league for you, innit? But Championship all over. Sorry, I start like this and then I just go. This break.
It's expected, mate. If you don't, it's weird. You mentioned Aronson. Some interesting bits with him this week because looking at the Joel Peru, Mateo Joseph conversation of who do you pick now? Peru scoring goals. Do we throw everything we've learned about Peru as number 9 out the window and go, but he scored 2 goals, so he must be fine now. We can play him there now. We'll be grand. So looking during the week, Mateo Joseph's 4 goal involvements this season, 3 assists and a goal. So if you do take Mateo Joseph out of that from a goal scoring perspective, you might get more from Peru, but you lose those assists that he's got in those games, and he's a huge part to play in Ramazani's goal last week as well. And if you look at his stats at this point per 90 minutes at this stage of the season versus Jorginho Rutter, you're seeing a very different type of player. There's obviously less successful dribbles, but there's less dribbles in general. But surprisingly, on his duels, he's won 43% of his aerial duels, Danny, and has won 45% of his overall total duels, full stop, which would be a surprise. Like he's winning 1 out of every 3 aerial duels he goes into, and then he's winning nearly 1 out of every 2 ground duels he goes into. So that's an improvement from an Aronson perspective, isn't it?
Very much so. I had a season-long joke last season that is the only player in the world to wear ankle weights on the pitch to make sure he don't blow away with the wind in a heavy gust because he was that light from what I saw from him in our Premier League campaign. But yeah, I think I like that he's, could you say, determination to prove the fans wrong, in a certain section anyway. I like that. He looks like he's trying, and he does want to make up for what he did. Whether he means it deep down or not, I don't really care at this point. If he keeps playing really well, it's if he gives it off the shirt, I'm sure fans will forgive him. We've forgiven Nonto, at least some of us have. But yeah, he looks up for it, and hopefully he can. Once I've always said around the 10-15 game mark is a good barometer of where we are as a team, because let's not forget we've got Tanaka, Ramazani, new lads, Schmidt even, to just get caught up to this league in the physical demands of it. So I think around the 10-15 mark will be a good barometer of where we are. And plus we have got another international break coming up, which we can gel more,
Yeah, could either take the wind out of our sails or give us an opportunity to gel a little bit more, and especially for the players that aren't going on to national duty, the likes of Ramazani, the likes of Schmidt, at least gives them a bit more time to bed in and get familiar with the place as well, which is always good to have. The other conversation around the Joseph Peru thing was, are we playing slightly different this year now that it might actually suit Piro's style more, whereas last year it just didn't suit his style at all. And again, if you look at Aronson's stuff, when Georgino Rutter was playing in the 10, he averaged 69% passing accuracy, which would tell you there probably wasn't a huge amount of passes going in there in the first place, but they were low if they were. And then his long range passing accuracy was in the 50s. And if you look at Aronson's, he's in the high 80s for short passing accuracy, and he's staying a lot higher up the park as well. So you're looking for those little slipped balls through the back line to break low blocks or deep lying for someone like Piro to get on to the end of. Where do you sit with the Joseph and Piro conversation right now? And do you think the change in style in Aronson that 10 could facilitate a move for Piro more long term?
It could be the same as Piro at Swansea, where he played more of a second striker, didn't he? And that's where most of his goals came from, were down the centre and outside the box. And that's where he were mostly successful, I believe. Anyway, if you've got stats there to prove me wrong, please do tell them. But it's we had this conversation last night. Like, you can't drop Joseph straight away because he's doing what he needs to be doing, but he also shows his youth at this level. You know, like the one-on-one miss against Burnley, for instance, or just his hold-up play can be, but that comes with experience and and time. But I think because we're seeing Piro come on and score, that the defense are being more ran ragged by Joseph and Aronson, and I don't think Piro and Aronson are the same player. Definitely not. I think if we're 0-0 and you bring Piro on for Aronson, you slow the game down. We are crying out for a 10, but I think Aronson is that 10. Personally, I'd keep Piro on the bench when I'd want him wanting to literally die to come on and prove everyone that he can be that number 9. What about you?
I think Aronson fits the 10 fine for me. I'm okay with that. And I'm still okay with the fact that people keep saying we don't have a number 10, but we've spent £25 million on Aronson as a 10 2 years ago. So we've got a 10. He's got 4 goal involvements in 6 games, which suggests to me he's doing his job. So for me, that's fine. Injuries will be an issue. I want to see Nanto in there a little bit more as well. I've really liked what I've seen of Nanto in the 10. I think he's got all the attributes to be a standout 10. And then I think, I think you stick with Joseph for what you're getting from him, because it's not just the goal, it's the assist, it's the all-around play, and his hold of play is excellent. Has been now, as you say, in the early parts of matches, it can ping off him a little bit. But if you look at him, he sticks with it. It's not like a Bamford or a Piro. If you look early in the game and say it's not working, that's them for the 90 minutes. Joseph goes looking for the game. So if it's not coming to him and it's not happening, he goes and gets involved somewhere else. If he's not scoring goals, he tries and add value somewhere else by getting an assist or holding the ball up for somebody else and linking the play and being unselfish, which is important. Especially as a single striker, being unselfish is really important. But when he gets chances, take them. I think he could score today. I do fancy him. Let me know in the comments what you think on the team. Will he make a change to the lineup today, or will it be the same lineup that went out last weekend against Cardiff? I personally, Danny, think he stays the same. You have a predicted lineup.
I did.
You've changed your mind, have you?
After seeing that tweet, I have, yeah.
Yeah. What was your thinking around this lineup anyway, Danny?
Instead of Strike, I put Ampadu.
Oh, you did it, Ampadu. Sorry, my fault. Hang on.
That's because I
just did the whole thing, Danny. That's
burn it all down. No, forgive me. I did put going off the injuries, assuming that that Strike, because he was a major doubt. So I've gone for Melier in goal, Bogle, Firpo at the wing backs, and Rodon and Ampadu. So Ampadu would drop down for me.
There, you're fixed.
There you go. Yeah. And then and then the middle 3 would be Gruev, Tanaka, and Aronson in there. And I liked what Lockie said on his video. Is it an injury crisis, but it's also an opportunity, because this could be where Tanaka comes in. I mean, because let's not forget, Joe said it loads of times, we didn't see Gruev a lot, did we, at the beginning of last season?
Not till Christmas.
Yeah, not till Christmas. So this could be that turning point. And if I remember correctly, we didn't play exactly great at the beginning of last season either. So this could just be teething things. If we find this, I'm assuming, because I'm a great manager, I've won everything on Football Manager with the cheat codes. Like, but this would be this is what I assumed it would be. But after seeing that tweet, I think it'll go unchanged, if I'm being honest.
Unchanged. Yeah, I think it's probably likely as well. I'd like to see Tanaka come in. I did think that when he did say Stroke had a possible knock, I did think, God, this could be fate moving here, pushes Rodon back. Pushes Ampadu back into the defense, leaves the space in the middle of the park. In comes Tanaka. Everything clicks as we all think it will, and away we go and win the league at a canter. So we'll have to wait. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Derby 1-1 with Norwich now as well. Still 2-0 Sheffield Wednesday against West Brom, and still 2-0 in the Blackburn game as well. And Newcastle have equalised against Man City. Anthony Gordon scoring, who I took out of my fantasy league this week because he was playing Man City. Great.
Of course.
Another
The
good
stars
year by
align.
me. Yeah, another solid year of not overthinking it and making solid tactical decisions in fantasy football. Ruin it again. I have my mates, we meet up and we talk about it, and they're like, I don't understand this. You talk a lot of sense about football, but then I look at your fantasy league team every week and I go, what is he doing? What is he trying to do here? And I'm like, one of them last year said to me, I bet you're at home thinking, oh, he's had a really bad year, but like, a manager puts his arm around his shoulder, he'll come good now. I'll put him in there, give him a chance. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pep talking fantasy league players pretty much. And then when they don't go out and do well, I'm like, I don't understand why he didn't do well. It was all set up for him.
Have you got your fantasy team just pinned up against the side there, and you're like, come on, boys, come on, get out there and
I
give me some
believe
fun.
in you. All motivational stuff. I believe in you. Yeah. 2-1 now, West Brom. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, that's gonna get itchy. Shouldn't have said a word. A word.
It's the Leeds way. We've jinxed it. We've put it to the universe, haven't we?
Well, it's Sheffield Wednesday. They were rotten. And we should have an official team sheet out very shortly. In terms of the game itself, Danny, you mentioned some stats earlier on. I got a couple for you. Leeds have lost 2 of their last 3 against Coventry, all up. Coventry are unbeaten across their last 2 league visits to Elland Road. If they win or avoid defeat today, that'll be 3 unbeaten. It'll be the first time in EFL history that Coventry have gone more than 2 games without being defeated at Elland Road. So it's set up for a win today. Coventry have won only 1 of their last 12 league games, full stop. There is massive pressure on Mark Robbins going into this game. We sacked the manager last week, Danny. Are we going to sack another one this week? Or does the pressure from Robbins move back to Barca?
Do you know, it's obviously a fork in the road, isn't it, now? Let's get another manager sacked, please. I'm surprised that we're not facing like the new manager bounce, because that's what we normally tend to do. Is a manager gets sacked a couple of weeks before we play them, and then the next thing you know, we're getting banged at home. You know what I mean? I should have rephrased that properly, really. We're getting done in. No, that's even worse. We're losing at home. Yeah, sorry, I'm panicking, I'm flappy a bit now.
You're right.
No, but can you imagine if we lose today to a team that's not won in 4 games? And yeah, the pressure. But we mentioned it last night. Joe was there. He'll tell you that it's mostly pressure from the fans rather than the board. That because it's only online, and I'm content to stay with Farker until then it does take a nosedive, and then that's when we do. Because the latest we need to be changing it is probably end of November, Christmas period.
That's the question. Isn't it?
But
interesting one popped up. Norwich game. This was given as a goal.
Oh my word!
So Norwich were that cross from Sargent went back into play and was scored, and that was given as a goal. But a yard out of play.
Oh my goodness
How
gracious!
Do you miss that? There you go. It is missed. Yeah, 1-1 there now in that game. 2-1 Norwich. Yeah, 2-1.
That's given. Mad. That's mad.
3-0 Largy, Aronson, and Nunta. Where'd you head at score-wise, Danny? How you feeling about the score?
I wanna say that we actually do it today. I think this is a different team mentally. I'd like to think that anyway. But people know that my brain's like a bonfire with fireworks on it. You know what I mean? How it works. But I like to, like James last night said 3-0, and I tended to agree with him, but I played it safe. I went 2-1. I think
Fine.
that we nick it in towards the second half. 2-1. My heart's telling me 3-0, but my head's saying, don't be stupid. 2-1, play it safe. What
So
about
you
you,
think
mate?
like last week, 1-0, but lots of the ball, second half, finish it off.
Yeah, I think we see a different. I don't know. I like to think what I think. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there's only one. I just need all the other voices to be quiet so I can think straight. Um, but yeah, I think 2-1. I think, but I'm saying that from a sort of a pessimistic sort of
Yeah.
angle today because it's Leeds
Tell you what
TST,
then.
isn't it?
What does your heart say and what does your head say?
I want to say 3-0. I think with my
Yeah.
heart, I'm going to go with James, but I played it safe last night. It's 2-1, but I'll go with 3-0. I want to say 3-0, but it all depends on whether their players turn up, doesn't it?
But that's it. Yeah. It depends on how they play. I mean, I don't think Robbins can sit back because he's under pressure, serious
Hmm.
pressure as a manager. I But then at the same time, that's also exactly how you beat Leeds. So if you want to beat them, that's what you should do. And then try and catch them
Hmm.
at a break. But I think if he does that, at some point he's gonna have to come out and play because he needs a result. And I think that plays into our hands then. So I think that they're a huge factor in this as well. I just want to see us go for it a bit more. You know,
Hmm.
I get the tippy tappy football, but I would like us to take a few more risks in the final third and not be so safe all the time. We got to take our chances. We haven't been taking enough of them. We've got to start taking them more often. Beat teams with the chances that we have and not have to just keep on creating more and more and more. If we can do that, be fine. But yeah, it's a tricky one because I do expect them to get going again. They've got a couple of players back. Ben Sheff is back at centre back, could be in their team, and Jamie Allen is back. Leeds team is out. No
Mm.
changes.
Can I just say right quick, last night,
Yeah.
sorry, I keep saying last night, we did talk about the momentum between Burnley and Cardiff. It was all Leeds in both games because
Mm.
Burnley knew that the way to get round us is to sit back, and they did, and they capitalised on one mistake. And Cardiff had no choice but to like sort of damage control. 10 men, right? We'll just try and get a point. But yeah, we'll talk about the team sheet, mate. So there's
Yeah,
no
no, you're right.
changes.
No change, but Gellert's back on the bench. So I'm trying to figure out who's not on the bench.
Uh,
That was Piro's there, Bamford's there, Gellert's there, Tanaka, Rothwell, Byram, Schmidt, De Bio. Oh, Charlie Crew has gone off the bench.
Charlie Crew, yeah.
Off another attacker rather than midfielder. There we go, Joe. Thanks very much, Joe. Appreciate it. Yeah, so unchanged lineup. How do you feel about that, Danny?
Farker's a big liar, isn't he? Why
Big
was he giving us
flaming
the
liar.
shit? Why did he
Yeah,
give us the creeps up us? You know what I mean? What's the point? Unless it was a tactic, in which everything's a tactic these days in football, isn't it?
yeah,
But yeah, if we see him struggling, I don't want this. Can you go back on and play for another 10 minutes? I want them off. Like for instance, Firpo's not trained as much as he, and
no.
I assume that his ankle's probably taped up to the max. Bring Schmidt on. This is why we bought him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I scratched my head last week around. I mean, you think about what you said this week. Stroke had a bit of a knock, Fairport had a bit of a knock. You had an opportunity last week to change both those players at 60 minutes. You could have. You didn't. You
Hmm.
waited. You waited.
Hmm.
Like there was never a better chance. The team that was doing nothing coming forward, offering nothing at all. You had a great opportunity last week at 60 minutes, or even a half time. Take out Gruev, take out Fairpo, bring in Schmidt, drop Ampadu in, put Snack in midfield. Job done. Doesn't do it. He's going to be under a microscope with his changes all the time, but you want to see more from him today, Danny, don't you? Like you want to, even if we're winning 1-0, this is a good bench. I mean, Rothwell, Tanaka, Bamford, Pirro, Gallagher, that Schmidt. That's a really good bench. You want to
Better
see
than
it
last
used
season.
when they're fresh as well, coming on. So not just to replace tired players, but to put on an extra wave of energy when they're struggling,
Mm.
when they're getting a bit tired. You'd imagine, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you've said it since day one on day dot. We move it fast. We get round teams, and I agree 100%. I don't want to see us score absolute Southgate ball and just sit, score and sit back. And I want us to put teams to the sword as soon as the 16th, 17th minute. If we're 2-3-0 up in the first 25 minutes, that's great. Mess around with it. You know what I mean? I'm not bothered, but we want to see free attacking football, don't we?
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
that's the
Or at
ultimate
least
goal for us.
chances. At least trying to make chances.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact is that we are making chances. It's just our we're not clinical in front of goal. That's just it. And that's down to the player, not the manager. We are creating chances. I'm sure there's a stat out there that shows the chances created.
Oh,
Excuse
we
me.
are sure. Yeah, we are. Well,
But
our conversion rate's a lot lower than it should be. Put it that way.
yes,
Um,
yeah,
the Coventry lineup, pretty interesting lineup. Liam Kitching, formerly of this parish, playing centre back, as they would say over here.
yeah.
Had a really good season last year for Coventry. Was one of their best players last year. Missed a bit of a season this year with a few injuries. Ben Sheff back, captain the side as well. He's back into the team for his first start.
Of
Sims
course.
and Rudoni both play, but no place for Haji Wright. He's on the bench. So Sims and Rudoni and Haji Wright last year in this fixture were the two that caused us the most problems along.
Yeah.
And if you look at Rudoni, he was very good against Huddersfield when we were down at Huddersfield last season. So we'll cause some problems in the middle of the park as well. So it's not an overly attacking side, Danny, but it's still a side that looks like could come and cause some problems.
Especially Sheaf. I remember that goal. Was it Sheaf that put that chip in for the Haji Wright goal?
Probably.
It was a great. I think he's a bit of a Rolls Royce. Is Sheaf? He's been really, and of course he starts today after being out. Of course he does.
Yeah.
Sims, I called him a bit of a bit of a rubbish player at the beginning of last season, but he seems to have found his feet in this team, given his chance. Van Uyck is a good player, especially down the wing. Liam Kitchen, we've seen him obviously leave us, go away to the lower leagues, and he's earned his way up to the Championship. So, and you mentioned Jack Rudoni, mate. I thought he was their standout player at Huddersfield.
He was.
And it reminded me like the EFL Gordon. You know what I mean? It's like with the bleach blonde hair. So yeah, there's definitely players in there that we need to look out for. De Silva's another, but these players are now under pressure, and they know that they've got the fate of their manager in their own hands. So and it's not like the last season they sat back all the time. They actually played football, and some of it was good and effective. And I think their first goal with Sims, I believe it came from one of our mistakes, and Sims just nodded it in on the 6-yard line. Less of that today, and I think we'll pick them apart.
Yeah, just look after our own job. Make sure everything is tidy, looked after. We do the bits that we need to do. Good chance to move into a really strong position. These next set of games coming up, Danny, we've got Coventry, we've got Norwich, we've got Sunderland, then we've got Sheffield United. That's not an easy run of games, but good results in those games could put Leeds in a very strong position in the league for the run of games that comes after that. That's much more winnable.
Yes. I mean, we get these 3 games out of the way. Don't lose any. It's points that win your prizes, then after, like you say, we've got the rest of the league to play. So we've played West Brom, would have played Norwich, which are going to be up there. Coventry in 19th today. That's not. And then we've played West Brom, who are currently top of the league. Have I said West Brom already? Sorry.
Oh yeah,
we've played.
We're the only team so far outside of, if depending on how the Sheffield Wednesday game goes, we're the only side so far to take points off West Brom. So that point looks really strong now. We've taken points off most of the sides down around us, but of the teams that are likely to be up there, West Brom are likely to be up there. Coventry were at the start of the season tipped to be one of the top 6 sides. Sheffield United will be up there. Burnley, who we played and lost it, but they'll be up there as well. That's a game out of the way, at least that's done. Sunderland started the season on fire, so they're there as well. So if you can get a good run of results in these games, it gets you results against a lot of your contenders. But for me, the big thing for Leeds this year is going to be beating everybody else and not the top sides. The top 2 or 3, fine if you can beat them, but we beat them last year and didn't go up outside of Southampton. This year for me, it's about beating everybody else and not dropping points, not dropping silly points. Win the games you have to win. Make Elland a fortress again, because it's not been.
No.
We got points against Portsmouth. We lost against Burnley. We need to get back to winning ways at Elland Road and make that place rock solid. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Danny, also this week, I wanted to ask your take on this. Elland Road's getting an upgrade, 53,000-seater stadium, the north and the west stand, the 2 that are getting the upgrade. That'll be exciting, won't it?
Yeah, it will. Is it one? I hope it's like the giant, the old record players, just like a big circular dome. So when we go, hey, and it will just go straight down the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And I want.
They brought in an acoustical engineer for this, Danny.
Yeah, is it a bat with massive ears?
That
yeah. That was like a pigeon, but yeah, an acoustic. I mean, what Mum, Dad, I want to be an acoustic engineer. I
Yeah,
mean,
all right. Yeah.
how do you become one? How does one become
Do
an
you want to be an
acoustical?
ice cream man? I've got an ice cream man, like your brother Timmy. No, I want to be a acoustical engineer
Your
and
brother Timmy.
specifically work on football stadiums.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to be able to shout abuse from the back of a giant cone so the player can hear me. It's like,
Yeah, I want to hear
"Oh,
it perfectly
that's
clear.
Joe. That's Joe.
Uh,
She's called me a.
Yeah, no pigeons,
But yeah,
Joe.
mate,
Back to your
it's
box. Back to your box. Yeah,
it's more of a dub.
I like the plan. I don't know what they're going to do with the cop, but I hope it's something that they've done. It's like they've done with Spurs, where it's one big long tier,
Mm,
and they
I believe
keep
so.
that as it is.
Yeah, I think they'll just extend it, won't they? Build around it, like like Fulham have just had theirs done. They've sort of built
Yeah,
around it and then enclosed into it, and I think that's what they'll do. It's exciting to see that we're actually modernising, getting with the times. I said last night that I don't want it to lose its authenticity as one of the like the old iconic grounds in football. And it's interesting to correct me if I'm wrong. Say it's all completed. Would we be like the
seventh
like?
largest stadium in seventh largest club stadium in England.
That's mad. That's
So this is
crazy
what they did.
considering what.
That's what they did with
Yes.
Liverpool. That's the existing stand here.
Hmm.
And they build the upper tier here, and then what they do is they renovate the lower tier, and then they get rid of the top part of it, and then they connect the two together, and you got your stand.
Yeah. So that's
So
what
the
this
yeah
this bit we're seeing will probably where the Park and Ride bit is. Not obviously in
yeah
Ellen Road, but the other side. So
this
that'll
will
be
probably go into
interesting.
full in out towards into Fullerton Park. I'd say this bit here
Yeah.
will cover that whole
Yeah.
area there, and then you've got that bit there to the
Yeah.
front. So that's
I
the
hope.
new stand there, the cantilever there, and then this is the new stand, the pink bit, and the old stand is the bit there on the inside. So they build the upper tier first around the lower tier, and then they incorporate the lower tier by renovating it and then taking the tops off it and bringing it
Yeah.
back
I
in to
hope
fit.
instead of fire exits, I want big slides with like Hessian sacks like we had as a kid. So you just pick
Mm.
one up and then you just slide down. It's more economically friendly. It's fun, and you get a bit of static on your hair if you have hair. Sorry, Joe. Uh, and it
It
sticks up,
is.
and you can shock people when you get
And
down. It's all fun. You know what I mean?
just get
And
on
you,
my arms and run
oh,
after people with
oh,
forearms.
we've just lost to Real Madrid. Oh, I'm happy now, but I'm not quite bothered anymore because I've just had fun down a slide. It's for morale.
That you should put it to them, Danny. You should see what they say. You should see what they say.
No,
The other bit of news that came out this week is Rasmus and Frankfurt potentially keeping him
oh, really?
permanently. He's doing very well. Playing as a right wing back. Who knew? Take the defensive capability away from him. Look what happens. Yeah, so they're looking at signing him. They would like to renegotiate the £15 million option to buy that they had in the original deal with Leeds.
Of
Surprise,
course they do.
surprise.
Of course they do. I think at this point, Leeds will listen because I think they just want rid of him.
Yep.
We've paid off the majority of his transfer fee already. I think it was 12 to 15 from Salzburg, was he not? So
I think it
we've
was
probably
10.
paid.
I think it was 10,
Oh,
10 the
was it
button.
10?
Yeah.
Yes, because it was a release clause, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we can get 12 or we get back what we paid for him, I'd let him go because he obviously does not want to be at this football club. He feels like he's better, he's higher than the championship, which is a shame because I thought he might have been okay in this league, get his
You
confidence
might have been.
back. So and he can score a goal, so I think he'd have got a few this season. But some players think they're up there. Let him go. That's personally what I'd do. Just right, okay, we'll renegotiate and just let him go in January. I would and replace him with me.
The Joe Wayman area now of football punditry. I'm better than him. I'm a better player than him. Give me a game. Get rid of him. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's out of contract. Sorry, he's 2 years left on his contract currently, so he's into his last year at the end of the season. So if Leeds were going to get rid of him this January, makes the most logical sense. I think the article said that Frankfurt rated him at about 10.8 million. The option was 15. It's like, take the 10.8 right now. Take it right now.
snap your
You've
hand
got
off.
800,000 profit on that, and out we go at the
Well,
far
snap
end.
your hand off for it, mate. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Danny, before we wrap up then, predictions for the game today. What do you want to see from this team and what do you think the scoreline's going to be?
I want to see. What I don't want to see is passing it around the edge of the box and wasting time. I do want to see fast movement, patterns of play, triangles, even shots and great finishes to win 14-0. That's what I do want to see. But just positive. I get we have to recycle the ball every now and then, but I'm not it's boring. I get that we need possession. If we've got the ball, they can't score. That's, you know what I mean? That's what it is. But I understand that people want to be entertained, but I do want to see entertainment as well. So what about you, mate? What do you expect?
I
Or what would
expect
you like
more
to
of the
see?
same, but I'd like to see a little bit more rhythm to what we're doing. I think Coventry will have a little bit more than Cardiff, but I would like to see a little bit more rhythm to what we do. I'd like to see a performance that lasts more than 45 minutes, that we have a second half that's good as well. That's what I'd like to see, and then a win, most importantly. Two real quick questions on the stadium stuff. Bring back the standing section is already back. The safe standing is in the cup, and that also goes to Martin's comment there, made legal in 2022. Leeds have been extending the amount of safe standing in the cup. I think the entire back row and the right-hand side as you look at the cup are all safe standing right now. And the plan is to
Want a
put
choir
more in there.
section.
That'll increase. Yeah, you are?
I want a choir section. I want drums. I want
You
that,
want a
that
singing
one.
section?
Yeah, I want a choir section where they've got the frilly things.
No drum.
Ah,
No
yeah.
drums.
No, I want the drum.
No drum.
I want,
No.
like on European nights, you hear that. I want that. I want, you name it, throw it in there. I don't care. Get it out there.
They're only for European nights, though. You can't have them all the time. Can't be just bringing them out.
No,
All right.
European themed.
European themed nights. Yeah. Yeah. Tuesday nights in the Carabao. The European themed night. Here, number two.
Yeah, yeah.
Michael, there's no question on the upgrade for the South stand yet. They haven't said anything, but there will be other upgrades to the stadium done as well. And you would imagine the East and the South stand will be the next two to get renovated after that. But you will see how it scored.
Oh,
West Brom just scored.
we did. We had to, didn't we?
They did 2-2. 2-2 in that game. Maja and Alex Mowat had another good season. Doing very well. Yeah, they've equalised, unfortunately. Right, I tell you what, we'll leave it there. I'm looking for a better performance in the second half. I was happy with the first half performance last week. And more chances created. I don't care if we scored them, but chances created. That's what I would like to see.
Yes.
But we'll see. Right, Danny, thank you very much as always for joining me for this. Folks, fingers crossed for 3 points. I'm back tomorrow morning. No, I won't be back tomorrow morning. Back later on tonight with a review of the game, initial review of the game. And then Monday we're back with the panel and the news, and I'll talk to you then. Danny, anything happening over on Not Another Leeds podcast this week that you'd like to plug?
Yeah, sure. We did a podcast last night with Joe Blackburn and Carl from the Ought Know Better podcast. Obviously, James was there with me, and it was very, very. It's from Arkham Asylum, I would say. It was very nalpy. I'll put it that way.
Right.
The quizmaster dropped in. The rude bugger took over as he does. But yeah, if everyone could go over there and check that out, that'd be much appreciated. We're almost at 900, so I'm hoping that we can get that very shortly. But yeah, Not No Leeds podcast, and we've got Sunday Club tomorrow.
I'm just gonna stick it in this so people can find it as well. If you are looking for Danny's channel, it should be in the description.
Is that real?
What?
3-2 Wednesday.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, it is. So, yeah, it's 3-2 Wednesday.
No
way.
You
can find Danny's channel in the description as well, so you can get on that and do that. And there will be a redirect as well in place for Just Joe for the watch along over there, which you can get onto as well. So he's getting set for that there now as well. So that'll be it. So yeah, 3-2 to Sheffield Wednesday at the moment. Maybe this goes our way today, Danny. Norwich still 2-1 up against Derby County, and Blackburn still 2-0 up against QPR at home, and still 1-1 in the Newcastle Man City game going into injury time in that game now. Right, we'll leave it there, folks. Massive thanks, and talk to you later on. Fingers crossed for 3 points. See you then. Bye.